Hello everyone, I'm Svetlana, and today we're speaking with Kim about her healing journey, her experience with dry fasting, and the results she has experienced after attending 3 retreats with Dr. Filonov. Hi, Kim.
Hi, good to see you.
I'm very happy to see you today. Thank you for joining me. Kim was diagnosed in November 2024 with 3 small uterine fibroids, correct?
Yes.
And I really appreciate meeting participants of our retreats because I want to hear each person's unique healing journey and insights. And through these interviews, I try to cover topics that may be important regarding various diseases. And I also want to address misconceptions and false ideas I hear and read about dry fasting. Kim, can you take us back to the beginning and tell us when you first started noticing that something was wrong?
Okay, well, I didn't really know that I had fibroids. I knew that I spent most of my life tired and not vibrant like that I thought I should be. And a friend gave me Michelle Slater's book, Starving to Heal in Siberia, and said, I think you would like this. And I had on my own just started water fasting. I had done like 2 or 3 days at a time. And I really loved that. I was afraid to do it most of my life because everybody I knew said it would harm my kidneys. And I just always felt nervous to try, but knew it was for me. So I started water fasting and I loved it. But when I read the book, it hit home very fast. And I knew I had to find Dr. Filonov immediately. So I found your website, and it was during my Zoom with Dr. Filonov before the retreat. There's a Zoom required. And he said, how come you filled out the application and wrote that there's nothing really wrong? I wrote that I wanted to feel vibrant and I'm getting older and I wanted more energy. And I said, I don't have any major disease. And he said, there's something going on in your abdomen on the Zoom. So I was a little nervous. I don't frequent Western doctors. So it had been a long time, and he told me to go get a sonogram before I came. He said, get the sonogram so you know what you're cleaning out when you get here. So I was nervous, and I went for the sonogram, and I had 3 fibroids. They were small, and I had a thickened uterus. So the doctor was very young, very friendly, and he said, oh, they're small, no big deal, don't worry about it, come back in a year. And I said, thanks for the challenge. He said, they will never go away. And I said, well, I will make sure they go. I said, that doesn't work for me. So I said, I'm going to do a dry fast and they will go away. And he said, oh, no, that's crazy. And he actually said, I did a 3-day one and I was hallucinating and I couldn't work. And I said, well, you shouldn't have been working. But he said, good luck. But he said, but they'll never go away. And I said, I'll see you in 6 months. And I went back, I think, in 8 months because I was nervous. And 2 out of the 3 were gone, and my uterus was back to normal size.
Wow, that's incredible story. By statistics, I was checking in the internet, up to 80% of women will develop fibroids by the age of 50. Many women are not aware, as you, telling us this, of having fibroids because they can be small and don't cause any problems. Or women can discover it because of more heavy symptoms like heavy bleeding or pain. And this was my question to you. What symptoms were you experiencing before fibroids were diagnosed, if any?
I don't know if I had any. I mean, I went through a little bit of the hot flashes. I'm 56. So about 2 years ago, I did have some heat during menopause, but I don't think I had any symptoms. I had no idea I had them. So I had no idea. I'm pretty clean, I think. I've spent 20 years healing myself. 30 years ago, I healed myself of a pituitary tumor and cystic ovaries. And I didn't know about fasting then. I did a lot of green juices, a lot of vitamin C, a lot of castor oil, and a lot of enemas. So I always just sort of, read a lot of books and figured things out for myself because I never had doctors that knew how to help me. Without medicine, I was definitely afraid of medicine. So I don't think I have had any symptoms, or not any acute ones. I was, like I said, just pretty much not feeling like my best. I didn't feel like I wanted to go into my 60s and 70s feeling fatigued like I had felt most of my life. I feel like most of my life I've been fighting just general fatigue, which to me isn't sick, but it's not well.
You just mentioned that you had tumor. How did you heal it? How did you manage to gain results? Because you don't have tumor anymore, right?
No, the doctor wanted to put me on a lot of medications like bromocriptine and different medications to dry up the tumor, but I was really afraid of the side effects. I'm really sensitive. So I refused all the treatment, and he made fun of me and laughed. And it was so long ago, but I mostly did castor oil packs literally every day. Told my family, they were very nervous. So I said, give me 6 months, and if I can't get rid of it on my own, I will take the medicine. But I really had no intention of taking the medicine. So I really read a lot of books from the health food stores. It was just the beginning of the computer world. I really wasn't on the computer. I read books, and I think I had this gift of being able to pick out from each book what might help me. So I did those few things. I did enemas every single day at home. I did a castor oil pack for like 5 hours a night on my whole abdomen, which I was already aware that would also clean my liver. And I took a lot of vitamin C, like 50,000 milligrams a day of vitamin C powder. And I just juiced. It was really about carrot, apple then. I started doing greens. I did a lot of greens, but that was sort of new then, back in the 90s. No one did a lot of greens. They did carrot, apple. But I started adding in more greens and less carrot and a lot of garlic. So I didn't know what I was doing, but I really trusted my intuition because I really believed that if I cleaned my body, it would clean itself.
What kind of tumor did you have?
It's called a pituitary tumor. It's in the pituitary gland behind the eyes, so it really is like one of the master glands. It doesn't turn to cancer usually, but it can grow big enough to cause blindness because it could press on the optic nerve. Mine also was small. They wanted to see if it would get bigger so they could take it out with a laser, but I didn't want to wait for it to get bigger. And I was really not even having a lot of symptoms then. I had no idea I had cystic ovaries. My ovaries were covered with cysts. I had no idea. And in 6 months, literally at the 6-month mark, everything was gone. It was benign. They usually are. My doctor did say, congratulations. And I remember saying, do you want to know what I did? And he said, I'm not allowed to tell my other patients what you did, so I don't want to know. But the secretary did call me and she said, I have several patients with that tumor. Can I give them your phone number? I said, sure.
Wow. Do you know their results?
I don't know. They never called. People have so much fear, so they never called.
Yeah, fear. Exactly. I totally agree. Somehow people think that someone in white robe, because they started, is smarter than your intuition.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you already helped yourself with these natural methods of healing. Why you decided to try dry fasting instead of coming back to the same methods, since they already helped you once?
Because I knew something wasn't deep enough. Like I knew I could get rid of stuff. I wasn't really afraid of getting ill. But I still never really felt great. I wanted to feel vibrant and alive. And I usually did feel like that only if I was completely on liquids. As soon as I would eat, I would be exhausted. So I knew that wasn't right either, so I knew there was something deeper that I wasn't getting to, or something I didn't know yet. And I've always felt that way. So I'm always searching. So when I read the book, I was like, oh, this is the next step.
That's great. That's how we met. Perfect. This is a great big thanks to Michelle Slater to have written this book. It's an incredible book. I love it. I love also the audio version of it.
Oh, I didn't listen to that. Maybe I will. Yeah.
A little bit delicate question to you. Fibroids can also be linked with infertility in some cases. Do you know if from that perspective you were healthy?
I have no idea. I never had children and I never tried to. So I don't know. I know that I always felt like I had poor circulation in my, my lower back. So I've always had chronic low back pain. So I think it's all related. I think the whole abdomen is related to back pain. And when all of your organs are tight and cramped up with fascia or stuck or scar tissue, things don't move. There's no blood circulation. So I know that's a problem, probably for most people all over. But I really don't know what caused stress, menopause.
But when you had this back pain for a long time, what doctors were saying you have?
Oh, well, that was the fun part, was going to different doctors, and every single one tells you something different. Even the holistic ones. Some say, oh, if you have back pain, it's fear about money. And if you have back pain, it's not feeling safe in the world and not feeling like anyone has your back. And some people said, get an MRI, you might have a slipped disc. So, x-rays years ago showed that I had a little scoliosis, but no one ever was able to help me fix it. It did go away during the first fast with you guys. The pain went away, but it came back because I realized, which I didn't, it took me a whole year to figure out, that I kept going back to a moldy place after the retreats. So it's back, and I plan to go again. And next time I won't be in a moldy place after the retreat. So I think it'll be hugely, even more incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we will go for it a little bit later. Now, since you mentioned also psychosomatics, that like problems with money, with the lower back, I'm into psychosomatics. I love this perspective. I think everything is interconnected. And about fibroids, have you ever heard that from psychosomatic perspective, it's more often attributed to resentment toward men? Can be also a puzzle of the case?
Of course. I think I did look up, I forgot her name, but that'll come to me. But yes, of course, I'm sure that's a huge part of it. And I believe that 100%. So I'm not very good at relationships, and I have a lot of old stuff, with men. So I believe that 100%. So I believe, and I also believe doing the fasting works on that, right? Because it clears all the old samskaras, which just means old systems that you have with other people and with yourself. It clears that. I think the fasting does things on so many levels that we can't see. Like the old actions, even our ants. I think it brings in the ancestors. It brings in your old karma. It clears things we can't see from our psyche and from, all the layers of aura that we're in.
That's absolutely correct. I totally agree with you that it's working this way. At the same time, I truly understand that sometimes people do not know how to behave differently afterwards. And they start to repeat the same patterns because they do not know what else they can do, the same behavior, right? Pattern. So have you ever addressed with this issue to a psychologist? Have you worked it out? Just curiosity.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've addressed it. I was in regular psychology for years in my 20s and 30s. And then I worked with a shaman for 8 years. He's actually the one that gave me the book. He saved my life and definitely taught me how to be an adult. I adore him. So yes, I've addressed it. And I think it's just a journey, right? There's not a beginning and an end. There's just a journey. And if we can take one step forward every day, we're okay.
Yeah, thank you for telling that. It's about the holistic approach to all this healing journey. I would love people to understand that it's not only about physical conditions, it's also about mindset, it's also about mind. So that's why sometimes I'm doing these questions to make sure people understand that they have to address the questions on different levels.
Yes, it's like any other journey. It's good to integrate it when you get home with all of your support team, whoever that is, to go over all those other pieces. Agreed. Yeah. Because things come up during the fasting too. I mean, you go into the dark night of the soul every night when you're not sleeping, all that stuff comes up. It's very hard, and it's really exciting for me. All that are exciting because when that happens, I know something will shift, but it's very challenging. So yes, it's really good to integrate when you get home with whoever your support team is, or should or could be. If you don't yet have one.
Yeah, at least you start thinking that direction. I understand that you into natural methods of healing. That's why maybe these questions may be not appropriate because you never even considered, but still I will ask. During the pandemic and later, did you receive any COVID vaccinations or boosters?
No, I was terrified of them. And I never got COVID. I actually was out riding around bringing food to people that were sick. And it was very easy to get everywhere because nobody was on the road. So no, I'm terrified of having to take any of them. Mm-hmm. So I'm grateful that I was able to get through that without it.
Great. So it never was the case. When you discovered these fibroids, what exactly your doctor suggested you as a treatment plan?
Nothing. He said nothing. He said, oh, they'll never go away. He said, they're pretty small, so come back in a year, And I said, well, that doesn't work for me. And that's when we had the discussion about fasting. I took the chance just to say to him, I'm actually going to do a fast for 9 days. And, he said, that's crazy. You'll never get through 9 days. And I said, oh, I will. And I said, thanks for the challenge. So he had no plan, nothing. I was like, so I wait a year and I come back and they're double in size. And then 5 years down the road, you're going to tell me to have a hysterectomy. No, not me.
Agree. Western medicine is very good for diagnosis, traumas, and emergencies. That's all. They are never really working for deep healing and for preventing.
Right. And they are great for those things, 100%.
That's why we like to combine in case of emergency and necessity. But definitely person has to take responsibility for its own journey, has to take responsibility and go through fear. Yeah, getting through fear, it's giving you results and bonuses by the end. And besides the book of Michelle Slater, what made you decide to come to the retreat?
I just knew. I just knew it was my plate. I knew it was the next step in my journey. And I really believed it would heal those things that I couldn't touch. Like I also had a shoulder injury, I think from years ago with a big, very large lawnmower. And then I work on people's bodies all day with my left hand. And I had a shoulder pain that was getting worse and worse. I had a hard time lifting my arm like this. And when I went for the first retreat, it never stopped hurting. And I was a little disappointed when it hurt when I got home. I thought I was going to get on the plane feeling like Wonder Woman. And I felt like, a newborn that needed to sleep. So that was a little shocking. But when I did the 5-day follow-up fast, which I really did not want to do, it was very hard to do that alone. After that was done, all the shoulder pain was gone and it has not come back. And I spent 12 years at a lot of different holistic and alternative people trying to fix it, and physical therapists. Nothing touched it.
We will speak about treatments later on, definitely.
Right. So anyway, I just knew that I had to go immediately.
What I noticed from different consultations, from people that we meet constantly, people who make quick decisions are those who are ready for the results.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had no hesitance. I can't wait to go back.
And from the beginning, what were you hoping to gain from this process of healing when you were coming to the retreat? What expectations you were having?
I really had no idea what to expect. I was a little terrified. I was looking forward to the body work, and I just was hoping I'd get through it. I kind of thought I would, but I was really nervous. Not with the not drinking, maybe with the not eating. I'd never done anything that challenging in my life. And my only expectation was to get through it. And I thought the day it was over, I would feel like, I was 12 again with a lot of energy. So that didn't happen, but it came later. So I have to say, I didn't have a lot of expectation because I had no idea what to expect. I was a little just terrified and excited at the same time. But I just knew that it was the right thing for me.
Terrified and excited, it's the best combination ever.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And why did you return 3 times? What made you feel that this was the right path for you? Because you get rid of 2 fibroids at the first time and of your shoulder pain?
Yeah, it was that. It was, again, the knowing, but it was just little things like I was much calmer. Each time I came home, I could tell my nervous system how to reset. I spent a lot of time with my mom because she was getting older and slowing down. And I was definitely a different person with her. When I came back, I had a lot more patience. My heart was a lot more open with the time I had with her, which is really important to me because I didn't like being impatient with her. And I felt bad many times when I had no patience, when she didn't know how to send a text or didn't know how to find the icon. But I was looking forward to going home and spending like all the moments I could with her. And that was really beautiful. That was a gift from I think the nervous system relaxing during the retreat, which I didn't expect at all. I actually didn't think about it because I didn't know it was even part of it. So it's not something I expected or knew would happen. It just did happen. So those times were so beautiful and sweet for me, mostly because my mom passed away in January. So thanks to you guys, I got that like really beautiful time with her. And I don't think I would have had it because I was so stressed. But I did spend weeks with her after every retreat, and that was the gift. That was the biggest gift. And then the third time I went was because she had just died, and I think I needed to heal and spend time with you guys and be at the beach and the water and be alone, which you're really alone there, even if you come with a friend, at least at night. And, it was just so beautiful to have that opportunity. I wasn't going to go a third time, but when I spoke to you guys, the doctor was like, can you come? And then I finally could come without, worrying. And so that was pretty amazing. It was a beautiful retreat for me.
That was touching.
Yeah. You guys feel like family,
There are some people who are really already family, like real family, not false one, but real one.
It's a really deep feeling. Like my whole family came from Eastern Europe, and I had never been there because I think I was afraid to go from all the stories. And I probably wouldn't have admitted that, but I was afraid to go. And when I got there, even when I landed in Austria the first time, I felt so at home. I was shocked. And so something healing had already started, right? I called in my ancestors and asked them to come with me, and I definitely felt my great-grandmother there. She was from Austria. And meeting you guys, I immediately felt like, oh, they're my people. You're my people. So there's a lot of gifts that I didn't expect. A lot of beautiful just harmonic things that just worked. A lot of synchronicity, a lot of heart opening. Yeah.
And just to see the difference, what was different from second and third time? What you felt?
I felt they got a little easier. I thought they'd get harder. I felt they did get a little easier. I didn't crave anything.
Easier physically or emotionally?
No, emotionally. I mean, I still, you still feel like you're dying to drink water. You dream about it. And that part is hard. The dry mouth is probably the hardest part. But getting through each day, it just was a little calmer, a little more peaceful, a little more knowing it's okay. One another day, we're halfway through, we're 3/4. It's just every day is like a journey in itself, but it definitely got mentally easier. I don't know that it was physically easier. For me, the walking helped. I was able to walk more. During the first retreat, I couldn't walk very much. And I just felt old and tired and a little upset. I was a little hard on myself that some people were walking much more than me, people much older, people much sicker. So you do learn that everybody's different, and it's really hard not to judge yourself. The first time I was like, wow, I can't move very much. So you have no choice. So he said the most important thing is the fast, the doctor said, and the walking comes second if you can do it. But by the third, I could walk to 6 kilometers a day. I could not the first 2. So it definitely got easier, and I definitely felt better every time I got home emotionally. Physically, I started not to feel well because I didn't know I was accumulating mold in my body. But I still felt the nervous system reset, and I felt still knowing 100% this was the right path and that I wasn't done yet.
Because you want to come again and again.
Yes, I can't wait to go back. Yeah.
I really thank you for being you and for coming to us. Some people are, as I repeat already, are family, and we always are happy to see and to help because we see how much people are investing. I want also to underline this. Sometimes we see that people just want pityness and think that someone owes something to them. And this approach we don't like at all because it's not helping in healing journey at all. And when I see that people are really investing, and it's not only about money, about time, about all the resources and respect and approach and attitude, with this approach that I feel, it's not that you can fake it, you feel it. And with this approach, you want to help. Only with this approach, when you have by yourself have done everything, and when we see that you have done everything and there is a puzzle missing and we can help you, we do that. But if you just pretend, it's different type of approach. Yeah, we are not a normal clinic. We are not normal coaches. We are a little bit more family style and more Slavic style. Who knows the trend? What is Slavic trend? So we are very Slavic. Yes, in all the approaches. And definitely with some people we can be hard, but with other people we are very soft, just because of your approach, just because of how we feel it, how we deal with it. And it's something you cannot fake, you cannot pretend, you cannot organize, and you cannot make it happen. It's just happening or not happening. That's why there are our people and not our people.
I think a lot of that just comes from fear when people are showing up expecting. It's almost because they lost the trust in themselves, right? So if they can't trust themselves to heal, they think everybody else owes them something. And when they start to hopefully relax and realize that this might work if they just let it happen, because there's not much you guys can do there except what you're assigned to do. And you do so much, but you can't convince anybody. So that's where I think it gets hard, where people come with fear. So they're so afraid to walk down the path. Even with everybody around them, they feel terribly alone or terribly needy, and hopefully they'll learn to let go of that. But there's nothing you could do to change that. So, except do what you're doing.
It's a journey, lifelong journey, indeed.
Know why I'm here. I know this will work, or I'm scared, but I'm still going to show up. It's a hard place to get to. It took me a lot of years. I always thought people were going to show up to take care of me, and then I realized I had to take care of myself. And then we sort of all take care of each other. It works very symbiotically there. You know, just walking down the hall, you know when someone needs help, you know when they need silence. It just works somehow. But I can see how walking in for the first time is frightening. I wasn't scared, but for most people, it's scary at first. So you guys have a really big, tough job, and you do it, you know, pretty well. You don't stop. It's exhausting what you do.
Yeah, we try our best. It's more about mission, you know. There is this expression, I do things because I cannot stop doing it.
Right.
So it's something, even if you're exhausted, yes, you give you some time to recover, but then you cannot stop doing it. This is something that is about mission. Yeah.
It is very different, you know, coming from the United States, where like you go to a retreat and everybody sits around and introduces each other and talks about themselves. And there's this very soft, you know, opening. And that doesn't exist there, because you have to expect to walk in and you're just already on the journey. And you really have that soft opening at the end when everybody comes off of the fast, right? So when everybody starts drinking water, and then they could actually speak to each other. So that is the difference, at least for like Americans and maybe others. It's not this, you know, let's all gather and have a name tag, and that happens at the end, all the love and the getting to know people, you know, if you feel like it, not if you don't want to. And some people really still want to stay to themselves even at the end. So it's just a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing, but it works really beautifully.
Thank you so much for mentioning that. I don't think ever someone have told this, because it's really how it's happening. No one ever mentioned from this point.
Yes, whenever I've done anything for a weekend or a week anywhere, the very first thing you do is all gather somewhere and meet. Oh, talk about it. Who are you? What are you doing? What do you expect? And there's this big thing of welcoming to break the ice, right? Or just to get started. But with your retreat, you're just walking in and you're coming fasting, right? The last time I fasted 2 days prior, so I came on the third day. So you're already in it. You already feel like you're sort of going inside. You're already feeling the quiet, the nervousness, like reaching for a glass that you can't touch, you know, remembering not to touch water in the airport. So you're already in it, and there is no introduction really. And you think you need one because that's just what you're used to. But then you realize it's fine, because we're all connected in a silent way and we're all on the same boat. But it is very different. So that was interesting. I still felt all the love there, but it's very different when you're not connected verbally. But there's still a huge heart connection with everybody, with you guys and Daniela and the kitchen, just taking care of us. Everybody, there's a lot of love. You have to look for it. It's there.
Thank you. So sweet.
Yeah.
And besides walking, was there anything else surprising about how your body responded during dry fasting?
No, I mean, I really like my favorite part is the body work. I knew it was going to be a little painful and unique and fabulous. So, and it was all of those things. So my body, I wasn't surprised that my body was super tense, and it was every time. So I hope over time that I'm not that tense when I arrive, and I know it loosens up a little bit at the end, but that was a little surprising probably, but that was the only thing. I actually liked how my body felt. It felt easier to move and easier to get through until the end, when you're just exhausted and your heart rate's going up a little bit, and it's just hard to move at the very end. We sort of age and we wilt, and then we come back. But The surprising thing was, yes, the pain and the tension in my body that I carry that I'm working on. Treatments were the best part.
Yeah, you accumulate all these diseases, tensions, blockages for decades, and then you
Yeah.
pretend from 7 days, 9 days, 10 days to expect the miracles.
Right, right. And the doctor explained last time, you get tense during the cleanse because your body is in stress mode. It is stressful in a positive way. So my jaw was tense last time. He said that's very connected to the liver and everything's trying to release. So as soon as the fast stopped, that all went away. But then you feel better than you did before you started, for sure.
And you have now attended 3 retreats and have seen around 100 participants, more or less.
Yeah.
You have also seen people returning who were already quite prepared and experienced with long dry fast, oftentimes around 9 to 11 days, right? Have you ever seen us force anyone to dry fast at the retreat? Or do you see it more as an empowering approach?
Oh, definitely empowering. Everybody survives. Nobody goes to the hospital. Everybody's really happy. It's really hard, but you feel, in the middle of it or toward the end when you just feel like you're at your worst and you look around, everybody's feeling the same. And it's a journey, and it's a really challenging journey, but it's equally rewarding. So everybody seems to be in it together, and the longer they get through, the better they feel. So
Yeah.
it's sort of a mixed bag because you feel terrible, but it's very exciting.
It was a comment that we are forcing people to fast, and we never do that. So I was expecting you also to share. Have you ever seen us pushing people to fast?
Oh, gosh, no. I think everybody's there on their own accord. And you guys, if anything, you guys are much less involved emotionally with whoever's there. Like, you make it clear you're not there to hold anybody's hands or to convince anybody. So, no, I've never seen anybody forced or, I've only seen people encouraged. If their heart rate was too high, they may have to actually stop fasting for a few days, go on water and go back on. And I see that people don't even want to stop because they're excited at that point. So no, I've seen the opposite of that.
I've seen people crying. They had to stop fasting and they were crying. So I've seen this.
Yes. I remember a woman last time was very upset because she felt that she was failing because she had to do water for 3 days and then go back. And of course she wasn't failing. She was just detoxing. So I remember you trying to convince her she wasn't a failure and that it was all good.
Yeah, there is a lot of psychological work behind the scenes and very subtle psychological work.
I'm sure.
How many days have you dry fasted at home at maximum?
I've never gotten to 7. So I did the 3, I think, during the 21-day cleanse prior to the first retreat. And then I did 5 every time after. So I haven't gotten to 7. I've done the follow-up 5. So the most I've done at home alone is 5 days in a row.
Mm-hmm. And at the retreat, each time you have done 9 days, right?
9 days and 10 nights. Yeah.
And why don't you try to fast at home that long, or it's not in your goals?
It's not in my goals. I think the doctor recommends 5 to 7 days for follow-up. I don't feel the need to do the 9 at home. I would like to attempt to get to 7 maybe, but I don't know if I will. It's just hard without all the support system. The retreat is the support, it's like your lifeline. So I don't think I could get through 9 by myself. I thank God I don't feel like I have to. Getting through the 5 alone is hard enough. So my goal would be 7, but I don't know that it would ever be 9 because I'd rather just go see you guys once a year forever. If you didn't exist, I would attempt 9 with friends, but I'd rather have the support. And I think the body work is imperative. I don't think it's the same when I do 5 at home and I have so massage and maybe some other body work, but it's not the same. it's not the same. It's not as good and it's not as deep, and nobody focuses on the abdomen like you do. Although now I met a massage therapist recently, and I had to work on my abdomen before she did anything else. So people are learning it slowly, but nobody else does it like that.
Have you seen already our lecture about retreat treatments?
Yes, not the whole thing, but I started it. Exciting.
Like these things became more clear what to expect on the retreat.
Yes, because you really don't know. Sometimes I think it's just better not to know. But I always want to know everything I can find out because I think it helps my anxiety. But I actually think it was better that I had no idea what to expect. And it was better than I expected. Like the beach is beautiful and you feel like it's giving you life. Like the wet air, the moist air felt like it kept me alive during the retreat. It was unbelievable how good that felt. The rain and the storms and that ocean air is incredibly healing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did a 5-day in my house with electric heat. It's not very good, but it's still better than nothing. So nothing could compare to the ocean.
The longest dry fast, how long do you think person can do?
Oh, only 10. I think he said 10 days at the most. I asked him this time if I could do 10. And by the time I asked him, I was very relieved when he said no, because if he said yes, I would have had to do it. But he said no. He said complications can arise after 10 days and you don't need to. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. But before I went, I was very excited and I was like, I'm going to do 10. But it's just in your head that you think you need more. I think it's the consistency that matters, the 1 day a week, the 5 days or 7 days every season. I think that's more important than trying to do 11 or 12 days and hurting yourself.
Yeah, complications. That's why I'm bringing this topic out, because of complications. And do you believe it is realistic for someone to claim 15, 17, 21 days of true dry fasting with no contact with water or any other liquids? Do you believe it after you have done 3 times 9 days?
No, I would never do that. I don't even think I would make it 20 days. With water, yes, but not dry. No, not true dry.
True, exactly. Because sometimes people mix dry fasting with wet fasting, with water fasting in the same period of time, and still call it dry fasting, even though they mixed it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why for me it's important to speak clearly about terminology. What are you doing? Because there may be complications such as blood thickening, right? We were speaking about that a lot. And this can seriously damage your brain irreversibly. So I want people to know what we think about that. It's not that it's impossible because we never tried it. Yes, we had a lot of experience, but because we've seen the complications even after day 11. This is very important for us to share. We are speaking about true dry fasting, true, not mixing with any other types of practices.
And it's not easy. So if at that point it just becomes an ego thing, like trying to do more. I knew that's why I thought I would do 10, just because it was so exciting and I could do it. And by the time I got there, by day 4, when I mentioned it to him and he said no, I was so relieved.
You were honest in your practice.
Yes, because it's very hard. You know, it's super hard.
Okay, let's go on. Because with us, I'm speaking with you like with a friend, just discussing in the kitchen some questions, So another topic I want to discuss with you, I hear about supplements also during dry fasting. What is your understanding on taking supplements during dry fasting? Is it still dry fasting?
No. Because the supplements that are actually some are actually maybe food, but some are just chemically based, but it's still anything in your system will completely take you out of the fast.
Simple, common sense.
Yeah. Because really good supplements are teeny little particles of food. So even herbs are food. They're plants. They're food.
Yeah.
So it's just a less calorie, but still food in your body.
With that, mechanisms of dry fasting, of fasting generally, are being interrupted, and you switch it to digesting. So detoxing, since you are intaking very low calories, because also supplements,
Right.
all that kind of things can be food. As you told, it's low calories. So you're switching from fasting to digesting. Since you're taking very
Right.
low, it's detoxing.
Right. And if some people want to start off with a low calorie diet to ease into fasting, then water, then dry, that's fine. It's just, it is confusing. And a lot of people are confused about which is what, because there's so much information out there now. So it is confusing for people that are even searching to try something new.
Yeah, and people are always trying to simplify their lives. Another topic. Sometimes I'm watching different videos on YouTube, random videos that are coming, and I've seen that people were speaking, a coach was speaking about having fasting snacks. Yeah, so it was about eating olives.
Oh,
Yeah, fasting snacks, olives. It was a very simple explanation why it's still fasting, but it's the same. Like any snack will activate your digestive system and will switch mechanism. And really, you don't need to be, as they were calling themselves, truth seekers. It's just to have a common sense, just a common sense. I understand that people want to go through, as they think, fasting as long as they could, but this doesn't mean that they can switch mechanism and still continue calling it fasting. And it doesn't mean that they will really get the real results they are expecting. So, as doctor is always saying, if you cannot do 10, you cannot do 9, do 5, but honest. And it will give you more results than not honest 9 on 10 days of fasting. When I hear like fasting snacks, like, what's that? Let's hear about that. It was incredible. Yes, like the information is quick in our world, but disinformation that harm is even quicker.
and it ruins your efforts, because I admit, during one of my water fasts, before I read the book, I ate some olives, I think on day 2 or 3, and all the work I did, gone. Within a few hours, I was starving. I think I ate popcorn. I ruined everything. I just wanted more salt. It was the worst experiment. And I love experimenting on myself. Didn't work. Did not work. It didn't make any sense, but I was brand new to water fasting. So, of course, I wanted an easier whatever. Oh, I'll feel better maybe if I eat some olives. This book says I can have olives. Terrible mistake. It ruined the whole 2 days I did, because then I was eating garbage.
Yeah. A lot of information, different type of information.
Yeah, yeah.
It's about also training your intuition to understand the logics behind every suggestion.
Yes, yes.
And do you take supplements before or after fasting?
I stopped taking vitamins. I stopped along a couple of, probably 5 or 6 years. I grew up taking a lot of synthetic, man-made vitamins. And then I started learning more about herbal medicine. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I stopped all vitamins, and I only take herbal supplements, like pure teas or tinctures or capsules. But no, I really cut back most things before and after fasting, because I want my body to catch up and just I work itself. So I don't take a lot of supplements anymore. I try to be really careful and really intuitive, or do muscle testing with the ones that I do take. But mostly I really just try to do sometimes an herbal tincture, because it's a little stronger than a tea, but I do a lot of tea.
On the clean body, all the herbs are working perfectly well because your body can really start absorbing them in a proper way. But you have always to be attentive also from where herbs are coming, from what soil. This is also a very important thing. And okay, let's go on with the nonsense I want to share with you. I was gathering the nonsenses and misinformation in the internet. And the next one, I came across some absurd information that someone mentioned about chewing mint leaves during dry fasting, claiming that it is suggested by Doctor Filonov. Have you ever heard anything like this from us or from Doctor Filonov?
No, no. First of all, Dr. Filonov is very clear and very emphatic and doesn't mince his words. No, no, and no. He's very clear that dry fasting has to be honest and dry, and there not even a drop of water. And he explains why you don't even want to bother your mouth or your teeth with water. So absolutely no mint, and he has would never be okay with that.
It's an absolute nonsense. And
Right.
I like speaking with everyone, please do not take everything people say in internet as truth. If you haven't heard it from us, from our lectures, hundreds of lectures on our YouTube channel, or you haven't found it in our online programs, because any random person on the internet can really invent any nonsense. So please keep the critical approach to everything you hear, especially with the name Dr. Filonov. I consider it's very important to share this information so that there is as little misinformation on the internet as possible.
I do have to say one thing. I said my favorite part of the retreat is the body work, but I have to say equally my favorite is the 1 hour lecture a day with the doctor, because I feel like that is the biggest gift. Like, he's just this beautiful being that's clear and firm and somehow loving at the same time if you stand around long enough to like see his heart, which is huge. And you can tell that he just wants to change what's not right in the world, you know, when people are sick and they're not healing, and he carries that, and he's so beautiful, and I just adore him. And to have an hour with him every day, and I know some of the questions that are so repetitive, and he probably wants to pull his hair out, but he sits there, and and sometimes he jokes, and he's adorable, but he's a master. Like, no mistaking, he is a master.
You said this time in March that it's been the best retreat ever for you in all these 3 times, especially lectures. And I understand why you are saying that, because even questions started to be more deep, more conscious, because people started to watch lectures prior coming to the retreat. So their basic knowledge are already covered. They already answered a lot of questions to themselves. And the new people that are coming and that are prepared, like by informationally prepared, start doing very different questions, not the same all the time. So that's why I always invite everyone to watch the lectures as much as you can before coming to the retreat. There are hundreds with Italian translation, with French translation, with English translation. So, and of course it's in Russian. So like 4 languages, do it. And you will learn even more if you have prepared yourself properly. And it's also respect towards others that already have been many times and want to learn more.
I do feel that it's a gift to have him give so much, you know, in a world where that's just not really accepted yet. It's beautiful. And it was the first retreat that I made it to every lecture without skipping any out of fatigue. So that was very exciting.
What you have by now, after 3 retreats, after the last exit, okay, you've been in the mold most of the times after exit. That's why your healing process was interrupted or a little bit different from what you could expect. What you have now, with your healing process? Where are you right now?
Well, I feel like I obviously have more awareness, because the doctor kept saying, I feel bloated. I feel like I'm holding water. I'm bigger now than I was after the first retreat. And I was even more bloated by the third one. And he kept saying, you're being reinfected. Check your soil, check this, check that. And I was like, what? Oh, that doesn't make any sense. No, I'm eating too many carrots or too many beets. And I don't think that's right. So it took me so long to figure it out. And he was right. He was exactly right. And I don't know if I wasn't ready to see it. I think it's my life's work to heal myself and then to help other people with that. So it's just another huge lesson for me and another moment for me to work this through and heal it. I spent a little bit of time feeling sorry for myself that I have to deal with all this mold and then go back and forth and go to the retreats and spend my time and my effort and my money and then come back and what was I doing? But it's okay. It's somehow that's how I'm motivated to do more and to do better. So, and I'll learn more because I'm going to get through it and finally feel better, even better at the end of the fourth one. And even as I go along, I'm just starting to feel a little more awake and alive right now. It took me a few months. So this past week, I just turned a corner where I'm not dropping off my energy at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So it's coming. And it's a journey, but it's coming and I'll figure it out, which is, accepting that first, there's a reason why it all happens this way. I'm not quite sure exactly why, but I'm just going to go with it. And I'm just so excited that I can go back and now I know what not to do after.
Your fibroids are totally gone?
2 are still gone. I didn't go back to check if the third was gone, so I will do that.
And what said the doctor when he saw 2 gone?
He was excited and he gave me a high five and he said, congratulations, you're your best self. And he said, scientists know this is real, but doctors are kept in the dark.
Really? So he knows it's working?
Yeah, he said, I'll never be able to get my other patients to do this.
Yeah, you were.
That I wouldn't even mention it because they won't even believe me. So it's such a dichotomy in there.
And coming back to these trendy things exposed on the internet, have you ever used synthetic electrolytes?
No, because no, let's say no. When I was feeling at my worst before I started water fasting, I tried them. I didn't think they worked and I didn't like the taste, so they didn't feel real to me. So I didn't take them anymore.
Because I even heard recently from one lady that she was suggested not to fast because of the electrolytes.
It all comes back. Whatever your body needs, it all comes back right away.
Actually, our body has enough inner resources to deal with it, even during dry fasting, because during dry fasting, even bones are being recovered quicker. If they are being recovered quicker, means that there is enough inner resources for that. And if we're speaking about electrolytes, if you are so really intensively thinking that you are lacking electrolytes, there are a lot of natural food that contain them, even like coconut water, even for example compote we are giving on exit, like compote, because when boiled, fruits and berries release potassium, magnesium, calcium, phosphorus in the water, and there is a list of different products that contain electrolytes, and you can go on with that. And to maintain the electrolyte balance, you just need a good diet with an emphasis on vegetables, fruits, greens, and minimally processed foods. That's all. If people are really interested in electrolytes, but do not take synthetic powder, because it's still synthetic, it's still processed, and it's still overloading and intoxicating your liver.
Yeah, I think we all get to that desperation state where we're just trying anything because we feel like we're drowning. So it never works. I admit a few of these things I'll just try every now and then, but not anymore. It's less and less and less. because I'm shown by my body that it can heal itself. And I did see on the video that you just made about the techniques and the treatments that he said we create enzymes while fasting. I never heard that. So there's still so many things I can't wait to learn at the next lecture, but I never heard him say that we actually create enzymes to heal different things like hernias and different things while we're fasting. Fascinating.
Scientists do not release the correct information about fasting, definitely. And after long fasts, how quickly did you recover?
I was definitely tired after, but again, with the fatigue, I had this peace that was amazing. This very grounded nervous system reset, very clear. My intuition was better, but I was tired for a few weeks. But don't forget, it's not really a true test for me because I was in a moldy space. So I don't know. I probably would have been a lot less tired if I was in a clean space after. But I would say within a month or so, I felt completely back to normal, but it was a slow month for me. And I just had to be slow and careful and move, with a lot of attention, which is not a bad way to be. But it's not, we're so used to wanting to rush and do things faster. So I'd say it took me a few months to really feel like my normal self. And the cleaner I kept my food, the better I felt, for sure. Absolutely cannot deny that. So if I would eat bread or anything, I would immediately feel, I would feel what it did to my body. So I still have that. I'm very sensitive, so I know the cleaner I eat, the faster my body works, the faster my metabolism works. My colon works incredibly better since the 3 fasts. My digestion, everything works better. So that hasn't gone away at all.
And what do you think, how many days a person has to consider after exit from dry fast before getting to the plane? Some people are afraid of coming back. How many days do they need to easily go home with the plane?
I do think if it's your first fast and you could stay the recommended few extra days, everybody says it helps. A lot of people say the airport makes them, the smells and the noise, they feel oversensitive and overstimulated. So that's challenging and they're tired. But some people are very different and they have more energy and they're just totally fine going off with their little backpack to the airport. So everybody's different. I would just say if it's your first time and you have time, stay a few extra days because it can only help. The water is so healing, the ocean, the sun, and the stable eating is there for you. I do think everybody's energy level is very different after.
A question related to this topic as well from the internet. Do you think the first days after exit would be less sleepy, less exhausting if there were a different exit strategy, a different exit protocol? Because there was such a supposition and I was curious to ask also you about that.
I feel pretty good with the compote is the best thing on the planet. And you guys have to hide it from us after a few days. But no, I think it works. I think, first of all, it's tested. So it worked, by the doctor and by all of us. If left alone, we would eat all the wrong things simply because we don't know. So no, I don't think I would change anything.
Generally, it's about how deep you went into healing process. Of course, if you only fast 4, 5, 6 days, you feel less exhausted simply because your body did less healing work, not because of an exit strategy. I just wanted to mention to those who are claiming they know some particular strategy to exit from 9-day or really deep healing process to make people sleep less. Why if they have gone through such a stressful process, their body, because fasting is stress, they need a really few days of very deep recovery. And you cannot speed it up. You just cannot.
You cannot.
Yeah. And it's not about strategy, I repeat, it's about how deep your body went through a healing process. At home, doing only 5 days, you exit much quicker, right? You are not so tired as after 9 days.
Right. I'm not even that thirsty after 5 days. I can't even believe 3 days. I'm not even thinking about water. Maybe the fourth and fifth day I am. So recovery's much faster. And yeah, I think, you know, he tries to explain it, but for new people, like he'll say, you're going to feel like a newborn. And I remember thinking, well, I don't remember what a newborn felt like, so I have no idea what that means. But when you come out and you drink that first water at 5 a.m., the sleep that you have after that, at least for me in the first few nights, then I knew what it was like to feel like a newborn, because the sleep is so deep and so different and so healing. And that's when you realize, oh, now I see why they asked me to stay a few extra days. It is a process. There was no Wonder Woman running to the airport like I thought. It was equally important to recover and allow the healing to take place. But until you get there and go through it, it means nothing, because you can't even imagine what that feels like. The fatigue and then that deep sleep that feels like the most delicious healing sleep you've ever had in your life. So you can't wait to go back to sleep after that. And then the thought of getting up to go to the airport is a little bit daunting. It's a little overwhelming, overstimulating. It's a lot sitting in an airport. So yeah, everybody is different, but he keeps saying the healing and the recovery and the refeeding is just as or more important than the fast. Yeah. But you have to get there to go through it, or you don't really know. So you have to trust and plan. It's hard to give yourself time. Most people feel guilty taking extra time. Some people can't take extra time away from work or family. But if you can, it's definitely necessary and helpful.
About treatments, you are just enjoying them, or they are really making a difference in your journey?
They make a difference. I mean, I know a lot about body work, so I know the importance of, you know, loosening the fascia and everything that's stuck. And I think that's the main focus for them. I may not be exactly correct, but yeah, they're painful. For some people, more painful. For me, they're very painful, but they're also so like I look forward to it every day, because I feel so much better after. So I can immediately feel the effects immediately. And they are intense, but I think they're worth it because they're getting something done.
Have you ever thought or intuitively felt that all these massages, strong massages, can poison your lymph system? It's also a supposition from the internet.
No, it's the opposite. They clean your lymph system. And then because you're fasting, your body's burning up all the garbage. So it's perfect. Yeah.
This is the point. Let me say the point. I was very soft all this interview with you.
Okay. What's the point?
You are very relaxing. I will activate myself because, yeah, you've got a point immediately. Because first of all, preparation is important before getting into the long dry fast, and we provide a 21-day program to do that. But the most important point that you just mentioned is that having contact with water is what actually compromises dry fasting, and the body will immediately start absorbing all metabolic waste instead of burning, as it should be done with true dry fasting. So if you are in contact with water, then it will be absorbed by lymph system. So person who is thinking of that or claiming that have really to evaluate what kind of dry fasting he is doing, false one or true one. This is the thing. Because if you're doing a true one, as you said, your damaged cells, your genetically modified cells, all your metabolic waste will be burned. Of course, with a good preparation. We're speaking after good preparation. Definitely, if you are not well prepared, but your body will not allow you even to go further in the long fast. It will stop you on day 3, on day 4. It will stop you. You will not be able to do that. So there is no danger of the poisoning of the lymph system at all. You're only gaining very good results. And it's not about really pleasure. It's a pleasure to understand that you're getting results. Let's say this way.
It is. And I love it when the doctor uses his wooden sticks and does his own body work, which I'm sure is very intuitive, and he knows exactly what he's doing, and it hurts. But I love it. That part I love. I find that pain is a lot easier than the deep muscle massage and the deep fascia massage. So it's an integration of a lot of different things in that room, but it's pretty unbelievable.
Have you ever seen anyone on the retreat to whom we put leeches on their dry fasting days?
Oh, no, no.
I heard this from a person who've been on the retreat. I heard it from a person who claimed he has learned from Russians. And he is misinforming, or he has zero understanding of the processes and learned nothing. This is my supposition. Because claiming, saying that we are putting leeches and that is damaging health, it's an absurd information. Let me tell that we do not put leeches even on the first day of exit from dry fasting. Is it correct, Kim?
No leeches until, no, because people have to be a little stronger and very, very, very hydrated.
It's kind of online exam I'm doing to you. Did you learn well from Russians? So we always say that people have to drink a lot of water, plenty of water, when we are putting leeches. Plenty of water. And we never put leeches on the first day of exit because of that reason. Sometimes we even don't put at all because the person is not feeling strong enough. It's fainting or feeling very weak, especially if a woman is bleeding. We consider each case, but we never put on dry fasting. Never. Don't introduce false information in what we do, because we do not do that. And I want to underline, because really this is something shocking that is sometimes I'm hearing about what we do when we do not do. Never have done that. In Russia, it was never done. In Montenegro, it was never done. So even if people claim that they learned from Russians or say that they have been at the retreats, there's so many nonsenses being pronounced. So incredible stories from online space.
It's terrible. People are just making stuff up because they're jealous or they're angry or they couldn't get through it themselves, you know.
I just really want to speak about different information I'm hearing, just to share our point of view of what really happens, how we really treat, and why we do one thing or another. I just want to underline to make it clear. I like the clarity and I go with that. What do you think makes a real expert in dry fasting?
I think the expertise come from getting through it, listening to the doctor and listening to the facts, and experience it for real. You can't really hear about it from somebody else. You have to experience it. And if you're listening to anyone else, you don't really know where the facts are.
And then, of course, you have to have a lot of experience with various diseases, because once you healed yourself, doesn't mean that you already can call yourself an expert, because there are so many different nuances, tiny peculiarities that can change everything, really. Anyway, do you think people should be educated or tested by us more carefully before entering our retreat?
I mean, I think you guys are trying to do that already. I think you have the 21-day fast, the 21-day prep. That is an education in itself, all the videos and all the information out there. And you guys have to see everybody on a Zoom first. So I'm sure that's not easy to do and to filter through. But I think you try to get everybody to educate themselves before they come. It's just a matter of some people are too busy and they don't take the time, or they never did it, or they didn't really do the whole thing, or they're not really paying attention. You know, I'm sure you get every reason that people might come unprepared. I don't know that there's a way to fix that.
Is this our responsibility that someone is not well prepared enough, or we should proceed with giving back the responsibility to people of their own healing journey?
Yes, I think one thing you guys teach really well is that you're there to hold space and provide the service, which you do, but you're not there to make up for the things that someone comes without, like preparation. Because you do provide it, you do suggest it, you say, do the 21-day cleanse, you say, or do this, this, this. You speak to every person before they come. So I think, yes, there has to be some responsibility taken. Like me, the doctor kept saying, you're getting reinfected. And I was like, that can't be it. I had no idea he was right. And I don't know why I was listening to everything else, because I just couldn't imagine that that was happening where I was, you know? So when you're ready, you hear it. And if you're not, you don't. So I don't think there's anything else you can do but keep reminding people how to prepare.
Or was there anything you thought you should have known beforehand?
I think the list was good of things to bring. I just think you have to get there. And if there's too much fear, then you might not be, they're not ready.
Yeah, sometimes I see the fear and I never insist because I cannot fast for you.
Right, right. So you probably have to have equal amounts of fear, but belief, you know, just to show up or something. People listening to something inside of them, right? Hopefully.
And have you ever seen, since you have seen around 100 patients, like participants of the retreat, have you ever seen anyone having issues with kidneys on our retreats?
No, I was told for years by an acupuncturist and a chiropractor that if I did water fasting, I would be taking years off my life. So I waited years to try water fasting, years, and I always wanted to. And when I finally did it, I felt fantastic. So it made me realize I was listening to the fear of other people, and I took it on as my own. No, I never saw anybody at any retreat ever have a kidney problem. I think it flushes your it's healing your kidneys. The water flushes it, the dry fasting dries it, the water, everything after flushes that out. No, so I've not seen one person have a kidney problem.
It's a huge misconception, huge. It's what science it's offering to the public to make people remain their clients, pharmaceutical clients. Yeah, I just want to underline why. Maybe there is a person who never heard about dry fasting and or just came to see this first video, for example, without having seen any lecture or whatever. I constantly hear in the internet that I stopped, I skipped, I exited because of kidney pain. And I want to say also in this video that those are muscles, those are triggers, spasms of the muscles that after losing the weight are being exposed and they create this pain. That's why when we work out the bodies, when we work out, it's like sometimes happen, oh, I have this like kind of, kidney pain. They're coming to the treatment, we work out, we just do the massage, strong massage of the back. The pain is gone because those were triggers. That's why we start with visceral massage, then we immediately go with the back, like we have a schedule kind of treatments. And after that, when you're going to lose more and more weight, you don't have any more this kind of problem because the problem was worked out before you started to feel it, oftentimes.
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
I do think it's something in the West that people are often told your kidneys are weak, watch out for your kidneys. So it is this thing that we hear often. And I heard it for years until I had enough conviction in myself. Oh, they must be wrong because I really want to do this. And that was all I had to go by. So it is something that's ingrained somehow here in a lot of people. Kidneys, oh, you're going to hurt your kidneys. Even by people on the holistic side, for me, were telling me never to do a water fast. So I finally heard my own voice loud enough to do it. But I waited for years because I was afraid.
It's important to say that again and again. I've seen, I don't know, maybe already thousands of patients in person, you've seen 100. And never, ever happened to me to see real kidney issue. Just, it's important to mention, people are thinking, oh, they are crazy. They're speaking about 9 days of dry fast. What's that? People are dying after 3. I don't believe this video, Everything may happen. Anyway, do you believe there is a connection between mind and illness? Do you think the mind has the power either to contribute to illness or to support healing?
Yes, 100%. I think we're all learning that now slowly, or some quickly, but I think, yes, if we can control our minds, we can control our bodies, but I don't think we can control our minds well enough yet. I think we're getting there as a collective. We're starting to realize that. But yeah, it's completely related. And I think what we believe we can heal, we heal. And what we don't think we can heal, we don't heal. And when we have issues and we don't express them, they get stuck inside the body, right? We all know if you can't feel it, you can't heal it. So when you're numb, you can't heal. And when you don't speak, you can't heal. So there's always something locked inside, or there's just a belief system keeping things locked inside. So it goes both ways. And I think generally people are waking up to that right now.
At least around me, I see people waking up more and more. But sometimes I already shared with someone, when I'm going into a real world, a matrix world, it's getting worse. So when you are surrounding yourself with the same type of people, you think that the world is changing. And then you get into the real world and you understand it's still the same.
Yes, yes. Well, the pendulum is swinging now. So we're seeing both sides very extreme. And then eventually it will come back to center again.
That's beautiful metaphor.
Yeah. I think that's what's happening. We're seeing the extremes, all the people healing and waking up, and all the people really experiencing the density, and it's really heavy because the pendulum is swinging. And eventually it will go back to center.
At one point, I don't know if we will see it.
Right.
I don't know how long is the story. And coming back to that, and there is very nice saying about that. Like, if you can make yourself ill with your mind, you can also make yourself heal with your mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I never heard that.
Yeah, and I can tell you another one because when I was studying psychology, our teacher told us the exit, like I was studying psychosomatics, the teacher told us the exit is where the entrance is. Like, think about it. And it's not that disease is entering your body. It's you entering the disease. You are ready, prepared with all your mindset, thoughts, etc., to enter the disease. Okay. Another philosophical question.
Okay.
Do you believe illness can sometimes push a person to learn something they would otherwise ignore?
Oh yeah, that's my whole life. I mean, I think because I was tired my whole life and somehow I don't know why I was so fearful of medicine, but it pushed me every step of the way to learn something new about healing and about natural healing, whatever you want to call it, just the laws of nature. So if I wasn't ill, I wouldn't push so hard. And probably if I didn't keep reinfecting myself with mold, maybe I just wouldn't be pushing so hard right now and it would be too easy. I don't know, but I think there's a reason, and that's probably part of it, because there's always something new to learn. I still feel like there's so much I don't know. And this makes me learn more. I already have learned so much more.
I feel that when you were coming to the retreats, part of you was believing in this magic pill of dry fasting without considering the lifestyle, the thoughts, the real environment around you, the real diet, because people really do not take this seriously into consideration. They think, I go one time on the dry fasting retreat, maybe twice, that's enough. But you have to start changing the whole life actually to really see the change.
So I was partly that person. So I've been changing my life for the last 20 years, and I'm always tweaking it, and I'm not perfect, but that part I've done and I still do. But I was that person that definitely thought I was going to go to the retreat, come home feeling like Wonder Woman, and never go back, probably because I wouldn't need to. So I didn't see the long-term need. And of course, that makes sense because I may not have gone. But of course, I'm so happy that I did. Now it's what I realized from going back and forth is that it's not, of course, it's never an immediate fix. There's no such thing, but it's more of it's also a lifestyle. It's a life choice, right? And it's a philosophy that I believe in. So I've changed my life around it, but nothing so extreme because I already ate pretty well. A lot of those things, I've always worked on my digestion, but the things like fasting 1 day a week and, taking all the other teachings in and knowing there's so many things I still don't know about what's happening in my body when I fast. That's exciting to me. And knowing there's so much more to learn. And now I'm excited to go back once a year.
Are you dry fasting once a week?
Yes. And the hardest part of that is the mental part. The physical part is so easy for me. It's the mental part. Oh, but I want my fruit in the morning, and then I'm going to want to go see my friend for lunch. And then, oh, so I'll do this day instead. And then, oops, there's something to do that day. So the hardest part is the mental discipline of like, this is my day. And I still don't do the same day every week because I'm just not that disciplined yet. I don't know if I need to do the same day every week, but when I do it, I love my day because I try to make it an easy day, but it's very hard to pin the day down. I see all my mental stuff coming up.
Priorities. Lunch or fasting.
Right. Exactly. True. Like, oh, I have to say no to people and, put something else off that I'd like to do, So it's still, there's always things to work on.
Yeah. If you could change one thing about your health journey, what would it be?
That's a good one. I could change one thing. Well, maybe I just would have started water fasting 20 years ago when I wanted to.
When you had fear of kidney failure.
Right, because two people that I really, really looked up to, an acupuncturist and a chiropractor, said no. I mean, like scary no. Like they were scared when I was even talking about it. So I was like, oh, I better listen. But now I kind of wish I did. But, of course, everything happens that way for some reason. But yeah, I wish I listened. I wish I heard that voice louder earlier.
It's like I heard the other day, a woman was telling, I was told not to fast because of the electrolytes, and this is very trusted person. So people really create the idols of something and then they follow. I mean, everyone is free to do what they want. And I only answered, when trusted people say something, sometimes they really believe what they say. But this doesn't mean it is true.
Exactly. Like, so I guess the answer is if I could do one thing differently, it was listen to my own voice a lot sooner.
What would you tell someone who just discovered fibroids?
Send them directly on a plane to Montenegro. But I would also let them know it's not a forever thing. You can get rid of them without medical intervention, or just start dry fasting.
Yeah, very simple. Actually, answers are very simple. And what advice would you give to someone considering dry fasting as part of their healing path, but still are fearing to start?
I just tell people to do something instead of nothing. That's what I tell them, because I talk to people all day long about it. And I say, well, then do something. Either have a Zoom with the doctor, or start one day a week, or do something to lead you in that direction. Otherwise, the fear is very paralyzing. Or just go, just get on a retreat. So there's so many options. Do the 21-day cleanse. There's so many options where to start. I started with water fasting only because I didn't read the book yet, or I tell people to read the book. So I offer many different options so people could see what resonates for them. And then some nothing, some, have spoken with Dr. Filonov. Some people are ready to go, and some people are still, oh, I got the book, I haven't looked at it yet. So everybody's on their path in some place, but the only thing I can do is provide all the options and the encouragement, and I'm living proof that it works.
The book of Michelle Slater, actually don't need to read it. There is only 8 hours of audiobook. 8 hours. You don't need to spend weeks.
Oh, right.
It's
right. Most people do audio.
Yeah, it's very pleasant voice, and it's only 8 hours. I hope we created some new thoughts to the audience, because new thoughts are future actions and new results. So I really hope this could help someone to look deeper into different topics and to start thinking maybe differently, maybe just confirming themselves the path they have chosen. I hope that this was something that really could help to someone, because this is the point why we meet with different patients, why we meet with different participants of the retreat, just to create opportunity to see the practice, the results of the practice, not just the theory, because we can go on with lectures, and lectures, but then people need the results, and we share the results. Thank you, Kim. Do you have anything else to share? Maybe something we didn't cover? Do you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, I just feel like people should just go. Listen to yourself and go and meet Dr. Filonov, and his children are incredible healers. And you guys do so much work, and you really put your all in, and just go. Everybody has to go. Trust yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And see you soon in March, since you have abonnement, March abonnement.
Yes, I will be there in March. Maybe sooner, but I think March. I can't wait. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.